We're live. Good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing? We're live with an impromptu Gameweek 22 stream. I was sitting around not doing anything, and I thought, oh, I could just go live right now, because I didn't really do a post Gameweek 21 stream, and then tomorrow's the deadline stream, which is always a bit hectic. So yeah, I thought we'd go live with an impromptu Gameweek 22 stream. Zayab, how you doing? Good to see you, mate. I need to buy myself a proper desk mic. I clicked go live just now on OBS, and I realised that my headset was still plugged into my PlayStation. So I had to frantically run into the other room and go grab it, because I was on FIFA with my mates earlier on. Emotion aside, happy Monday. Happy Monday to you too. Hope you had a good one. First day of the week's over. We're only less than a day away now to the Gameweek 22 deadline. How was your Gameweek 22 emotion aside? Hope you had a good one. Hope you had a green arrow. I finished on 62, took a -4. Actually, my game week was a disaster in hindsight, because I sold DCL. I sold Bamford and got DCL, which ended up really costly, obviously, because Bamford, I think, got a goal and 2 assists, right? The chat's not showing. Oh, I don't know why that is. I was literally frantically doing all of this stuff just before going live, so maybe that's to do with it. Let me check again. See if this sorts it. Don't know if that will. Maybe we'll be chatless for this one. But yeah, happy Monday. Yeah, I don't know why the the chat's not working. This is what happens when I decide to do a last minute stream. Zayab got 42. Only played one defender, who was Sufal. Soufal got 1 point, right? I had him off my bench. I got him off my bench for his 1 pointer. So yeah, I was a bit conflicted that game because I had Salah captain and Robertson play him. So really, I just wanted Salah to do well, even if it was at the detriment of Soufal, which he did. Salah completely rescued my game week 21, completely. I was sitting on a horrendous score, like massive red arrow, before that Liverpool game, and obviously I had the armband on Salah, so it was all eyes on him. So it's good to, I guess, good for Salah to finally pay back my trust because he's massively disappointed since getting him back in. I brought him in here actually. God, it looks even worse when I look at the data. I brought him in for West Brom at home back in Game Week 15. Yeah, and I captained him 15, 16 and 17. And he blanks in all of those. And then I finally switched it to someone else. But yeah, Game Week 21 put the armband back on Salah, so he finally came good. How did everyone else do Game Week 21? Who's your captain for Game Week 22? Cole MC, awful week. Bamford stuck on my bench. Brought Cancelo in for holding. Nightmare. The Cancelo benching, I really didn't see that coming. It's just bizarre, isn't it? But it's classic Pep. Cancelo and Sterling, they get a goal and an assist in the game before, and then he benches both of them. He's just completely unpredictable. He obviously thought he could get by in that Sheffield game, but they barely did in the end. You would think Cancelo comes back into the side now, but I am slightly worried about Pep's lineup for Game Week 22 because they've got Liverpool on the weekend, which is a huge game. Liverpool away, absolutely massive game. If they win that, you can see them running away with it. Arguably they already are, but that's the big game, Liverpool away, so I am worried with what Pep's going to do with this Burnley game. Historically, City v Burnley is a good fixture as well, so maybe it'll be at the back of Pep's head that he can afford to rotate a little bit for that fixture again. We saw Burnley lose 5-0 when they played away at the Etihad. I do think we're going to see more rotation. I don't know who it's going to be. I hope it's not going to be Gundogan or Diaz or Stones. I hope for your sake, Cole MC, that Cancelo does start and does well for you. And shame about holding as well, right? I think he got 8 points. It was a bit of a weird game week. There was just crazy rotation and players blanking that you wouldn't expect to. You know, Son blanking, Bruno blanking, Gundogan blanking, DCL blanking, Rashford blanking. You know, I'm just looking at my team and reading out names, which goes to show how much Salah rescued me. Sultan, how are we doing? Good to have everyone here. Good turnout. This is a completely impromptu stream. I decided to go live about half an hour ago. I was messaging on the Discord saying I was thinking about it, and a few of you said do it, so good to have you here. And likewise, anyone that's watching on catch up, Jonas said he would be, so if you're watching on catch up, Jonas, hope you are enjoying the stream so far. I have rustled together a little bit for this stream, but I haven't properly prepared for it, so bear with me. I just realised how visible the green screen border is as well. Let me slide over here a bit. There we go. Cole can see Gundogan getting a rest. Yeah, I do think there's going to be more rotation in that City side, with one eye on the Liverpool fixture. And I'm worried it might be Diaz, or maybe Stones again. One of them. 86 points for Scott. Huge score. Massive score. 62 of a -4 for Sultan. Nice. Exactly the same as me. I got 62 and took a -4. Who are you captaining in Game Week 22, Zayabas? I'm captaining Salah. Definitely. He's playing at home as well this game, where historically he's done a little bit better than away. So definitely captain Salah for me, but there's some other good picks this week. Could be the week Bruno comes good. It's been a while since he's hauled. Yeah, but 86 Scott is a huge score. Well played. Nevis says Bruno's due a haul, just like Salah was before West Ham, so I'm going to captain Bruno for the next 3. I like it. You can even captain him for the next 4. You know, United have got such great fixtures. Although saying that, Game Week 24 is potentially a double game week, We don't know yet, but it could be a double game week for City, so that would throw all captaincy plans out the windows. And I think that most of us would have an eye on a City player for captaincy. Maybe DCL, if DCL ends up being in that double game. It could be Everton, could be Southampton, likely to be City. Cole asks, what to do if Son looked isolated against Brighton? Yeah, it was a bit worrying. I thought that it'd be a good game for Son. I thought it might be a tight game, but I thought he'd get something, if I'm honest. Especially playing a striker where historically he's not been affected by Kane's absence. He's always done well playing up top, but yeah, there was just no service. It wasn't happening. Bale had a pretty poor game, I thought. So he'll need to change it. Maybe he starts Vinicius up top and Son returns to his usual spot. I'm going to hold him personally, to answer your question, because sometimes Spurs do better in the tougher fixtures like Chelsea. They could look to counter, but also in Gameweek 23 they play West Brom at home, which is a really, really good fixture on paper. And depending on how Gameweek 22 goes, he could be the standout captain pick. So I'm certainly not going to sell him. But it was worrying to see him blank, I have to agree. And he's blanked for a few in a row, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he last scored against Leeds in Gameweek 17. FPL Penguin, good to see you, mate. I just caught the tail end of your stream earlier. I tuned in and you had the title card. Thanks for watching. I was like, you're welcome, but I haven't watched yet. But I did rewind and watch a bit of your stream and catch up, Penguin. So he asks, hey mate, who would you prefer to own for this week, Watkins or Grealish? Grealish. I feel he's got a higher ceiling than Watkins. Watkins isn't that clinical. He's been really disappointing overall. He's obviously scored 2 in the last 3, but if you look at the run of games before that, he didn't score between game week 8 and 19. But Grealish is involved in everything. It's definitely Grealish for me. And I think he justifies his price despite how much he's gone up. Golf Perfect, how we doing? Good to have you here. Anshuman, which 2 to start from DCL, Bamford, Cresswell and Wan-Bissaka? I would definitely start DCL. You can only start 2 of those. God, that's a nightmare. You've got to start Bamford as well. But I really wouldn't want to be benching Cresswell and Wan-Bissaka. Is your team really that stacked? I think you have to start the strikers, because they've arguably got the highest ceiling. Cresswell, you know, he could chip in with an assist, but you know, with Bamford and DCL, you don't know what the limit is. They could, you know, Bamford could put up a similar performance to he did in Game Week 21. So I'd start the 2 strikers. Sam C's going Barnes captain again. Wow, very bold captaincy in Game Week 21, but respect, you did well, right? I think he got 8 points, including the bonus points, so good work. Aprasim, Watkins or Wilson? I still prefer Watkins, despite Wilson's score in Game Week 21. Villa are a much more attacking side, putting up better numbers, as is Watkins, so he's my preference. Let's do I pulled out very briefly because, as I say, I had about 15 minutes to prepare for the stream, but I pulled out a few bits and bobs from Twitter and Reddit. So let's just go through some of that. On the subject of Cresswell, so Cresswell's recorded the joint most assists in the league since Game Week 15. That's in the league, not amongst defenders. 4 assists for him, failing to return only once during that period. Cresswell is also currently the highest scoring defender with 96 points, so he's overtaken Robbo as well after Game Week 21. I'm one of those that made the mistake of going Soufal instead of Cresswell, because at the time they were putting up similar numbers, so I thought, oh well, I'll save the 0.7 or whatever it was at the time, but Cresswell has just smashed it since then. Any Saka owners in the chat? Good to see Saka back in training, and likewise Aubameyang. Saka obviously missing Game Week 21 with an injury, and Aubameyang was out as well for personal reasons, but he's back in training, so very good to see him back. The forgotten man, Jamie Vardy, could be fit for this weekend's game against Wolves. I wouldn't be rushing to bring him back, but it's good to see Vardy back, and He does go on these ridiculous runs, and if you pick him up at the right time, you can just fly up the ranks. Obviously, some of the big news from the Liverpool game was Mane was missing due to a minor muscle problem. So it remains to be seen if Mane actually makes it back, because of course the deadline's tomorrow, so we've got midweek games. The games are coming thick and fast, so Mane owners slightly worrying to not make the squad, and remains to be seen if he even makes the squad for the midweek game as well. Any of you follow me on Twitter will have seen this tweet I put out. This was back on the 30th, a couple of days ago. I noticed in Robertson's team that he sold Mane for Son, and the last time he did that was back in Gameweek 10 when he was benched against Brighton. So I just speculated a bit here, but I said, does Robertson know something that we don't? So turns out he does. He knew about the Mane injury. Insider trading that. And Maitland-Niles has gone on loan to West Brom. I should have used the West Brom transition, right? I almost never use it because who cares about West Brom news? But there we go. Maitland-Niles on loan from Arsenal to West Brom. I guess if you're Maitland-Niles, he's done nothing wrong really. He's a decent player, and out of nowhere, he's been consistently benched. Bellerin's starting first choice. Cedric's coming to the side recently and done well, so he's probably a third choice right now. Whereas you'd imagine that he'll be a starter for West Brom. And one unfortunate manager in the top 10k had this combination of players: Mitchell, Stones, Cancelo, Sterling, Saka and Tierney. So if you're that one manager in the top 10k, if you're watching this, I'm really sorry for your gigantic red arrow. Very, very unfortunate. But I think it was one of those weeks where everyone suffered unexpected players being benched in their team. Toffs, good to have you here, asks, thoughts on upgrading Saka to a premium or holding him? I would hold him right now. I forget who Arsenal have got. Let's just check the fixtures. Wolves, yeah, I would hold Saka. I mean, it depends who you can upgrade him to. I think Grealish is an outstanding pick at the moment, and of course Villa have got 2 double game weeks coming up later this season. But it does depend on who you can afford to stretch to when you say premium. If you're going Saka to Salah, then yeah, obviously I'd make the move because Salah's a captaincy shout. When else not voted on the captain poll, that's live on our Discord. Don't forget to get your votes in. We'll have a very brief look at the results, but we'll have a final look at the results on tomorrow's Gameweek 22 deadline stream. Massive thank you everyone that has tuned in so far. I didn't expect such a turnout because, as I say, I decided literally half an hour before going live that I would. So, Anshiman, Emotion Decide, Marco, Nevis, Sultan, Zayab, anyone else that's joined this stream, good to have you here. Don't forget to like the video while you're here and sub to the channel. We'll be back tomorrow with a deadline stream as well, but loads to get through on this one before then. Sorry if I've missed any questions. Where did I get to? Nevis, Son's a streaky player. I think he'll come good again after Man City when Kane's back. Yeah, I agree. He's very streaky, and it's a bit frustrating to be on the wrong side of that streak at the moment as a Son owner. But I'm definitely happy to hold him in the interim. And this week I have no transfer plans. I'm going to roll the transfer. Going to be boring. After taking the exciting but ultimately disappointing -4 in Gameweek 21 to sell Bamford. What a disaster that was. Could have been a really good green arrow, but instead my rank basically stayed exactly the same. Didn't move up or down. Zayab, thoughts on Mitchell? Who would be the best defender up until Gameweek 24? So Mitchell, I would have said yes if he was still playing, but he's lost his spot to Van Aanholt. Gameweek 21, Van Aanholt started in the Wolves fixture, and Palace kept a clean sheet. So Rodgers is the sort of manager who doesn't rotate, and if a player's doing well or the team's doing well, getting the results, he doesn't rotate because if it's not broke, don't need to fix it. And we saw that, you know, Palace were doing pretty poor here, and then Mitchell came back into the side, and it did pretty well. The Leicester game 1-1, Mitchell was man of the match, and that's a great fixture to draw 1-1 against Leicester. You know, and then they kept a clean sheet here against Sheffield, a clean sheet against Arsenal, and then the fixtures or the results have turned a little bit. So we've seen Mitchell get dropped again. So I don't think he's worth picking up right now, to be honest with you. However, Palace do have very good fixtures. I just don't see anyone in that defence worth getting, to be honest with you. Van Aanholt's a risky one for what he costs. You know, all it takes is one poor performance, and we could see Mitchell back in the side. So what are your transfers for this week? Sultan asked. Yeah, so that's my plans. I'm actually going to roll the transfer. I really don't see anything with this team that I need to change. You know, I could do Watkins to Antonio, something like that, but I'm happy with my side. Happy to leave it as it is and reassess going into Gameweek 23. Dylan, good to have you, mate. He says, I'm wildcarding in Gameweek 25. Can I afford to go for a punt with Marcus Alonso? I love this question, and I'll tell you why. So on the Gameweek 21 stream, I pointed out that a lot of people will plan to wildcard in Gameweek 25. So if that's your plan, then you can afford to take a risk or two, because you've got a dead set plan to reverse out of it if it goes wrong. And you never know, it could go right. So we saw Alonso start in Gameweek 21 unexpectedly. Scored, kept a clean sheet. Big score for him. Got 2 bonus. Azpilicueta also scored actually. Got an identical return, but took the 3 bonus. In fact, looking at the Kings of the Game Week, Azpilicueta was the player who joined in Gameweek 21 with his 15-pointer. So that continues the streak of 7 defenders in a row. We've had Azpilicueta, Cancelo, Stones, Keane, Tierney, me, and Hawes. Long streak of defenders you don't usually associate with scoring big, but yeah, we've seen a long streak of defenders. I wonder how long that continues. Salah and Bamford actually also scored 15 points, but the way they do it is the cheapest player is the one who gets the spot among the Kings. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure on Alonso. You know, if he's guaranteed to start, he's so appealing, playing in that left wing back position. But he is obviously competing with Chilwell, who they've spent a fortune signing. But you'd imagine he starts the next game, clean sheet and a goal. Good luck to you if you do it. Hope it pays off. Where did I get to? Let's have a look at Anshaman's team. If anyone has Rate My Team questions or wants to drop your ID in the chat, feel free to. I will do my best to take a look. So we'll look at Anshaman's first. Wow, massive score. Massive score in Gameweek 21. 84 points. God. I think he doubled a lot of people's scores in Gameweek 21. Then you had Stones and Cancelo dropped to your bench. So he said he's stacked and might need to bench Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Cresswell. Jumped 200k last week. Congrats on the massive jump. So yeah, you have to start. Oh, you've got triple City defense. I think you have to start the triple City defense. You have to do that. Just looking at anyone you could potentially bench. They've all got great fixtures. You know, if you had a playing backup keeper, you could almost bench boost. It's a shame to bench someone like Cresswell and Wan-Bissaka when they've got decent fixtures. But yeah, if it was my team, I think I'd start the triple City defense. And I would definitely roll the transfer. So Cartier's in the chat. How we doing, mate? So Cartier, I believe, tuned into my very first ever stream. Good to see him still here. Einar says, Mr. Focal, not sure if I should roll my transfer. Would love your input. Let's have a look. Well, you guys are smashing it. What are these scores in Gameweek 21? So this is Einar's team, 74. That must be a massive green arrow as well. You've shot up to 217k. You got Kane as well, and you bench Kane. Captain Sterling, Vice Captain Salah. No comment. And you're asking if you should roll the transfer. So let's see. So you can start Diaz, start Justin, start Cancelo. Just working out. I guess if Kane doesn't play, then Dallas will come on for you. Have we had any news on how long Kane's out for? Is there anything concrete? Do you guys know? I heard it was 2 or so weeks. I'm not sure how many more game weeks that would be. What's his ETA? Unknown return date. It's just wild, isn't it, to have a player like Kane and to leave him on your bench, you know. You're surely tempted to move him on. What if you downgraded Kane to someone like Watkins or Antonio? Because otherwise you're benching an 11 plus mil player again, right? I'd be very tempted to do that. But you just don't know with Mourinho, right? He could be very coy about Kane's injury, and then we see him back for Chelsea for all we know. But it's a really tough one to call, you know. All they've said here is unknown return date, so he could be out for a while longer. Maybe they'll be targeting the Man City fixture for his return. But I'd strongly consider downgrading Kane to Antonio or Watkins. Maybe DCL. Everton could have a double game week in 24. In fact, we'll have a quick look at it now. This is all of the fixtures that have been postponed so far this season and are yet to be rearranged. And obviously among those is Everton. Villa are among there, Spurs, City, Southampton. Quite a lot of teams have got 2 games yet to be rearranged. So those teams are guaranteed to have 2 double game weeks at some point this season. And as usual, Ben Crellin on Twitter, one of the best guys to follow, has been speculating some of the double game weeks we could have, and he is speculating that City might have 3 in the space of 4 game weeks in 24, 26 and 27. The other teams that may have won in 24 is Southampton or Everton, so we could actually have a Everton double game week a couple of game weeks away. So that would be Everton playing Fulham in one of those fixtures. So DCL could be a player to downgrade Kane to. He was disappointed in 21, but I'm keeping faith. He's got Leeds this game week, very good fixture, Leeds. You'd expect a response from Everton after losing to Newcastle. Newcastle, who were, you know, in the worst form in the league going into that game. So that's something to keep an eye on, the double game weeks as they come. And that's partly why I brought in DCL, but also his good fixtures. Dylan says Kane's expected to be back in Game Week 24 against City. Yeah, so I know. I mean, would you really want to be benching Kane for another 2 game weeks? Think about the missed points potential if you don't bring in a player like DCL, Watkins, Antonio. You know, one of them's bound to do well over the next couple of game weeks. Leaving points on the table, in my opinion, if you're benching a player as expensive as Kane. Colas, roll a transfer with this team. Let's have a look at your team. So he took a -8 in Game Week 21, 48. And the question was to roll a transfer or not. So you could start Stones, you could start Cancelo, you could start Soufal or Justin and go 3-5-2. Yeah, I'd definitely roll the transfer. Nothing stands out here. Really solid team actually, well rounded. You've got a bit of a nightmare on your hands actually with who to bench, because you've got Bamford and Stones on your bench for Game Week 21. So it's a difficult one with who to bench going into 22. I mean, you have to start Bamford, you have to start Antonio and DCL. But then look at your midfield. Who would you bench out of those? Absolute nightmare trying to figure that out. I wouldn't want to bench any of them, but someone's going to have to be benched. Definitely don't need to make a transfer, but I think you've got too much money on your bench looking at this team. Because someone in your front 8 is going to have to be benched. Because you can't play 5 mids and 3 strikers. Does anyone remember the all-out chip from a couple of seasons ago, which they abandoned? It used to let you play 2-5-3 just for 1 week. I miss that chip. But I think they replaced it with the free hit. So not all bad. But I would roll the transfer for sure. You know, just in case this is one of those game weeks where we see really random benchings, which could happen, you know, with how thick and fast the fixtures are coming, it could easily happen again. We could see something like Gundogan being benched. I hope not, as a Gundogan owner, but it could happen. So yeah, I'd roll the transfer. Marco, how we doing? He asks, which one of these would you start? Dallas, Sufal and Cresswell. I would start Cresswell and Dallas. Oh, sorry, which one? I'd start Cresswell. And then the bench order would be Dallas, Sufal. I'm not sure I can see West Ham keeping a clean sheet against Villa, to be honest with you. But Cresswell's always got the attacking threat on corners. Toff's looking for feedback on the team. Let's have a look at your team. I'm blown away by how many of you guys have tuned into this stream, considering it was very last minute. But it's good to have everyone here. Toffs, let's have a look at your team. What was the question? Thoughts on the team? So you've got Reguilon. Saka's back in training, so he should be okay for the Wolves game. I would start Cresswell, Diaz, Stones. Midfield 5. Grealish, Gundogan, Bruno, Salah, Saka. Looks absolutely fine. Bamford and DCL up top. Yeah, I like it. Looks good. How many transfers have you got? 1 or 2? If you've just got the 1, I'd probably roll it. Ryan, that's a name you don't see often anymore. Oh, Matty Ryan. In an Arsenal shirt now. Yeah, team looks absolutely fine, to be honest with you. I would probably roll the transfer. Reguilon, I would be looking to move him on for sure. But you can afford to roll the transfer, I would say. Because you'll end up with holding first on your bench. I guess Reguilon second on your bench. So, looks fine. Decent team. Let's have a look at the Goalscorer Odds for Gameweek 22, shall we? Can you guys guess who's top for Gameweek 22? There's of course Mo Salah, 59% chance of a goal in Gameweek 22, followed by Sterling, Jesus, Mane, Bamford, DCL, Bruno, Rashford. And this is of course assuming that these players start when you see the likes of Mahrez and Martial. Martial has been shocking recently, and we saw him dropped for the Arsenal game, with Cavani starting in his favour. Cole's MC says, tempted to bench Gundogan this week. Oh, big shout that. Might pay off if Pep does bench him, but you're going to kick yourself if he starts, you know, because if he starts, there's every chance he does well. That said, I don't see him here on the goal scorer odds, but we know how clinical Gundogan is. One of the most clinical players in that City team. Well, Fane, good to see you. How are we doing? What, the Blankler and Mane Fest? Well, yeah, maybe. We'll see if Mane even makes the squad again. I think he's touch and go at the moment, as it stands, to make the squad. And the clean sheet odds for Gameweek 22. Man City on top again. Feel like a bit of a recurring theme in it. Every week City are top for the clean sheet odds, but rightly so again. Followed by Liverpool, 50% chance. Then United. And then Sheffield. Surprised to see Sheffield up this high. Then Arsenal, Leicester, Palace, Chelsea, Newcastle. In a way, it's good that Mitchell's lost his spot, because it'd be a bit of a headache whether to start him or not in my team. I'd be very tempted if Mitchell was still a starting player in that Palace squad. Were there no Leicester players on the Goalscorer Odds? Yeah, you're right. Surprising to see no Barnes. I guess Barnes would be the most likely, but you know, he's in decent form, but I suppose he's not a massive goal scorer. Maybe that's why he's not made it. Interesting though. I guess he's still a differential, Barnes, isn't he? I haven't properly looked at this graphic, if I'm honest with you, but this is courtesy of FPL Update Tips on Twitter. Really good account, worth following. He puts together these amazing graphics each week. I just realised I'm blocking out his username. It's this FPL Updates Tips. That's his Twitter handle. Yeah, he posts amazing stats every week. I didn't actually have a chance to digest this one before even going live, but I thought I'd include it just in case. And the guy's given me permission to use these graphics as well. But yeah, he's measuring the offensive stats over the last 4 game weeks, so 18 to 21. For goals scored, City obviously on top as you'd expect, and likewise for expected goals scored. Shows how much City have been overperforming their expected goals. They've had 9.6 but scored 13. In terms of shots on target against City, big chances City. It's all City at the moment in attack. West Ham, well up there. We've seen Antonio come back into the side, so this kind of ties in with what we've seen. And surprisingly, Liverpool as well, off the back of the West Ham win, which I'm sure massively bumped their expected goals. It's quite startling in the goals scored. Southampton rock bottom with 1 over the last 4 game weeks. Everton rock bottom. I did point this out actually when I was doing my Gameweek 21 transfers, that it was a bit of a hunch, the DCL move. I said the data's not been great for him, but you know, the whole squad were back together. Digne was back, Richarlison was back, James was back. So I fancied him to do well against Newcastle and got that one completely wrong, having sold Bamford to accommodate DCL. But there's still time for it to turn around, as we've seen with Liverpool, who were in horror form, and we've seen them to start to turn it around. And on the defensive side, this is again the stats for the last 4 game weeks, so 18 to 21. West Brom, despite Sam Allardyce coming in with the worst stats over the last 4, 11 goals conceded, 3 more than anyone else, which was Newcastle. Again, this is why I fancy the DCL punt, because Everton were playing a Newcastle team in horror form. City with no goals conceded at all in the last 4. Brighton, surprisingly. Sanchez has obviously come into the side fairly recently, with Ryan having been dropped and now on loan to Arsenal, and they've done well since then. They've actually put up good defensive numbers all season, but we've finally seen in the last 4 that they've done well and back those numbers, the underlying stats. Arsenal and Chelsea also down there. Chelsea are a very interesting one because we've seen Tuchel come in and his style of play is very, very possession based. So it's going to be interesting to see the Spurs game and how that plays out. From what I've seen just on the eye test, he's not given the opposition many chances to shoot. Certainly not good chances in the box. I really can't remember seeing Chelsea threatened massively in the 2 games since Tuchel's come in. Fulham actually top for expected goals conceded, closely followed by Newcastle and then Burnley. So anyway, I thought I'd include that. Yeah, some interesting stats in terms of attack and defence over the last 4. Aidan FN Leaks asks, who's first to bench? Let's have a look at your team. $57 points for Aidan in game week 21. Took a -8. Oh, big shout. And the question was who's for the bench? So Cancelo you have to start. Zuma's a problem. Who else would I bench? I would bench Brewster. I'd bench Zuma. You'll have to keep an eye on the Lacazette news. He went off with an injury against Man United right at the end of the game. I'm not sure whether he's going to be fit to start, so it may kind of be made up for you there. It might have to be Lacazette, Zuma, and Brewster that you bench. I think that's what I would do, but you know, if Chilwell's the problem as well. To be honest with you, you're gonna have to sell one of Zuma or Chilwell. I would probably sell one of them, Chilwell or Zuma, for a City defender. I think it's well worth the double up. Something to consider. Oh, Blue Sky, I stand corrected. Lacaz's good to go apparently. Well, that's good. In that case, I would probably sell one of Chilwell or Zuma to bring in a Man City defender. To be honest with you, double up looks the way to go. The way they've defended this season. I think they've conceded one goal in the last, is it 12 or 13 games? Absolutely ridiculous stats. And it's got to the point where everyone's got a City defender, so therefore, if you've only got one, in a way you'll drop rank every time they keep a clean sheet, because a lot of people have got more than one. Does that make sense? But yeah, as Matt said, Zuma's got to go. I agree with Matt. Dylan says, if I did bring in Alonso, would you play him over Gundogan or Watkins? It's a more difficult question if you're going to be benching one of them. I love the Alonso pump. As high risk as it is, it's a very high risk, high reward kind of move. But if you're having to bench Gundogan or Watkins, I don't like it as much. And there's no point bringing in Alonso to bench him. You know, that's just not worth it either. If you're bringing him in for the punt, you may as well start him, right? But it's I'm not sure if it's worth it if you're gonna have to bench Gundogan or Watkins. You just know the one you pick to bench is the one that's gonna do well, right? But Matt raises a good point, and it's something I talked about at the top of the stream. City have, or not just City, all of the teams are playing lots of fixtures thick and fast. And Gundogan, although we saw him come off in West Brom, he started a lot of games in a row here, all the way going back to Gameweek 13. So we could see more City rotation, I hate to say. And Gundogan could be on the receiving end of that, with Pep Guardiola having one eye on the Liverpool game. I don't think he'll be worth faint. Yeah, I think there's a chance he's rested because Guardiola is going to have one eye on that Liverpool game this coming weekend. He'll probably back himself to get a result against Burnley by rotating. You know, we saw City destroy Burnley 5-0 earlier in the season, and we saw him rotate heavily against Sheffield. So he could be managing his squad with an eye on that Liverpool game, because that's a huge game. If they beat Liverpool, I can see them running away with it, honestly. I can see City winning the title. It's still early in the season, but they just look head and shoulders above everyone else right now. You know, one goal conceded in their last 12, 13 games is just ridiculous. Emotion aside, Captain Cancelo, City give me a heart attack every week. Yeah, this is the price you pay with owning City players. There's no one in the world that's not been on the receiving end of Pep rotation. Someone, I remember going into the Gameweek20 stream, someone said, in fact 2 people said they were going Cancelo captain. And I said I love the shout, and I said I hope it pays off, good luck to you. So I hope they stuck with it after he got the goal and the assist and the clean sheet. But yeah, it's just classic Pep to go and bench Cancelo and Sterling off the back of them both getting a goal and an assist. You can't write it with Pep, and you just can't predict him. And you just have to kind of accept that with Pep. It's inevitable. And as I say, I do have concerns it's going to be the same with Gundogan. Maybe even one of these defenders as well. Matt says, Man City will never concede again. Never ever again. Football, they've completed it. Finn, how we doing, mate? Yeah, I'm well, thanks. I'm very well. Good turnout for the impromptu stream, to be honest with you. Wasn't expecting such a good turnout. It's good to have everyone here. Considering I decided, half an hour before going live that I would. And we've managed to rattle through quite a lot of content as well, actually. As always, I will add the timestamps to the video in case anyone joined late. A few people on the Discord said definitely do a impromptu stream, but they couldn't make the start, so I do always add timestamps because I do actually get quite a few viewers after finishing the streams, which is great actually. And I've been thinking about doing videos besides these live streams. These live streams are amazing. I really enjoy them. I enjoyed doing the streams with you guys, but I've also been thinking about doing just regular videos, not live streams. Things like my team pick each week. Things like underlying stats. But I'm undecided. I don't want to overcommit, if that makes any sense, because I know how much a grind content creation is. I didn't fully anticipate it when I got into this a few months ago. It's worth it. It's really fun, but I know it's a hell of a grind, and I don't want to get burnt out because right now it's just perfect level. I absolutely love doing this, especially with this whole pandemic and being locked inside. It's been a really good hobby. Oops, I just clicked down. And I didn't anticipate how many people would subscribe and join the Discord. We blew past 1,000 members in the Discord last week, and we've got over 250 subs now. But if anyone's watching this and isn't subbed, do hit the sub button. We're on a growth path. Let's go for 1k subs. How about that? Emotion Aside says, can confirm the timestamps are useful. Excellent. I'm glad they are getting used, because that's something I actually don't know. I've never asked the question. Adam, didn't spot you sneaking in. Adam says, I'm tempted to captain Sterling again. I no longer feel pain. You'll feel pain when you captain a City player and they come off the bench for a one-pointer. Not that I'm saying that will happen to Sterling, but that's when you'll know pain. You'll really know pain when your vice captain's hauled, your captain's benched. You're crossing your fingers and toes that he doesn't come on the bench. It's the 85th minute. You're thinking, I'm nearly there. Your heart rate increasing, sweat dripping down your forehead, and the commentator says, "Oh, he's warming up. Think he'll come on." And your Gameweek flashes before your eyes. We've all been there. That's when you've known pain. FPL pain. That's what the P in FPL stands for, pain. Emotion Aside says, Aguero is not worth it for me. Too inconsistent and risky. Yeah, I agree. It's a shame, but I think Aguero's best days are past him now. He's just not stringing together games anymore. And not looking like the player he once was, for whatever reason. I hope he gets back there, but he's not been an FPL option for a while. Certainly not this season. In fact, I brought him in at one point this season. The game week he was back from injury, and he went off at half-time injured. Hussein, good to have you, mate. He says, Captain Salah finally came through. Finally, I know. The amount of times Salah's let me down in like the last 6 game weeks. And he finally came good. And my whole game week was riding on a Salah performance. And he came in clutch. Did you have him captain, Hussein? Federico says, genius. In fact, I'll read your full name because that's brilliant. Federico Boccanegra Monsalve says, genius me, bought in Chilwell last week. Should I ship him out already or hold and see what Tuchel does? Yeah, that's unlucky. I was saying on the past streams, I think right now Chelsea are a wait and see, and I wouldn't recommend buying them because we don't know how he's going to line up. And I wouldn't be surprised if he starts Alonso again. You know, if you're Tuchel, why would you bench him if he's kept a clean sheet, he scored a goal, put in a really good performance? and really suits the left wing back role. He just doesn't suit playing left back in a back four, but he really suits left wing back because he's good at attacking. It depends on the rest of your team though. I would be tempted to sell, as much as I hate to say it. Finn, I got 47 points this game week. Absolute nightmare. Unfortunate. Was that a red arrow, 47? It was a low average, wasn't it? What was the average? The overall average was 49. Top 10k it was 60. Yeah, I got the smallest red arrow. I was 137k, and I dropped to 139k. Let's have a look at the expected points for Game Week 22. Always helps towards identifying your potential captains. This data is courtesy of FPL Review. Just a second while the dog joins us. It's that point in the stream. He always tends to want to come up on my lap when we get to about the 50th minute. So this is the expected points for Game Week 22. And yeah, Salah top for expected points by quite a stretch, 6.7 expected points. Interesting that they've given him expected minutes of 77, and I actually would say this is about right. If Liverpool have that game wrapped up, I do think Salah comes off early because, of course, this weekend it's Liverpool v Man City, which is a huge game in the title race. Bruno also up there with 6 expected points, or just shy of 6. Jesus and Sterling up there. Rashford. Robertson's been a bit disappointed as of late, but hoping for a clean sheet. Really annoying to lose that clean sheet in the West Ham game. It was a really sloppy goal they let up. And it would have been a nice green arrow had they kept that clean sheet. So that was a shame. Where did I get to on chat? Blue Sky. Salah owed that haul to all of us that had him for the 6 blanks. Yeah, I'd say that's fair. He was well overdue a haul. And we deserved it for those of us with the diamond hands that held strong. We were finally rewarded. Dylan says, if Diaz or Gundo is rested, though, Alonso will come in and probably one of them will. Yeah, if you anticipate one of them being rested, then sure, get Alonso. It just seems a shame to get Alonso as a punt and then not actually start him, because it's barely a punt then, right? But yeah, I take your point. We could see some more rotation this week because it's midweek games, and then next weekend we've got more fixtures. Emotion aside, what's his name? His name's Teddy. Ted Lasso. Have anyone seen that TV show? It's actually brilliant, about the American football manager. Why a faint Doge joins the stream. Buy Dogecoin. The prodigal dog returns. He's back. Ted Brunner, rate my team. Martinez, Mendy, Cresswell, Stones, Dallas, Thiago Silva, Benderek, Fernandez, Mahrez, Grealish, Sterling, Pereira, Bamford, Wilson, Lacazette. Mahrez is a problem. I would definitely be looking to ship Mahrez out. He's great when he's consistently starting in the side, but it's so rare that he is. I'd be looking to sell Mahrez. Besides that, it looks like a strong team. Apparently Lacazette's okay, someone in the chat was saying. He did pick up the injury in the Man United game. But apparently he's fine. But something to keep an eye on as well, just in case it's looking like he ends up benched for the next fixture. Who else have you got? Mendy. Is that Mendy in goal? It's quite a lot of money to have spent on your keepers as well. I always prefer to have a starting keeper and then a very cheap backup keeper, because it tends to actually not work in your favour when you're rotating keepers with good fixtures. Often the teams with tougher fixtures end up getting the save points, and sometimes they'll keep an unexpected clean sheet. So I've noticed over the years it's actually better to just set and forget with keepers rather than rotating Martinez and Mendy, you know, who are like 2 5 mil keepers now. But your team looks good besides that. Finn asks, are you leaving the armband on Salah? Yes, I am. Absolutely. I'd be crazy to take it off him, wouldn't I? Surely, off the back of the brace. Yeah, Salah captain for me again. Playing at Anfield where he historically has a better record than away. Bruno's a really good option as well. Could be the week where United finally deliver for the owners. Bruno's been very disappointing, as has Rashford actually. But Southampton are bang out of form, as we saw when we looked at the recent data. Let's have a brief look at the fixture ticker as well. It's very interesting actually over the next 6. Maybe the next 6 is a bit too far away actually. Maybe I should go shorter term than that. But over the next 6 you can see City and Leicester actually rock bottom of the fixture ticker. I think the next 6 is probably too far. I would say... Do you guys still have your wildcards? I think a lot of people will be looking to wildcard in 25 ahead of double game week 26. Game week 26 will be the biggest double game week of the season. So I think a very popular plan will be to wildcard just before in game week 25. So let's have a look at the next 4. So United top of the fixture ticker of the next 4. They've got 3 home games in the next 4. Southampton, Everton, West Brom and Newcastle. That's why I'm personally more than happy to keep hold of Bruno and Rashford despite them being disappointing. I do think they'll come good in the coming game weeks. City actually rock bottom on the fixture ticker. So maybe the defensive double up is sensible on the way to go. Leicester and Liverpool way down there as well. Spurs fairly low down. Palace have got a very good run of fixtures. Maybe we'll see a resurgence of Zaha. Who are you guys captaining in Game Week 22? We've got the captain poll on the Discord actually. If anyone's not voted on that, don't forget to get your vote in. We'll have an early look at the captain poll results in a second. Be interesting to see who you guys are going for. Ted asks, what's the extension you use to see the fixtures under the players? It's an extension called FPL Tools. It's available on Firefox and Chrome. I'll leave a link to it in the chat if anyone wants to use FPL Tools. That's the Chrome link, and if anyone's on Firefox like me, that's the Firefox link. It's a really good tool. I just use it for the fixtures under players, but it does include other features like expected points and that sort of thing. But I just use it for that. It's really handy for your defense, especially because you can look at the defensive rotations, and also you can up your captaincy decisions. You know, when I look at the fixtures under my players, even going back a few game weeks ago, I can see that City and Liverpool play each other in game week 23. So that kind of rules them out as the captaincy running. You know, United have got Everton, could be a tough game. So then I thought, well, Son's going to be a potential captaincy shout that week. So that was one of the other reasons I brought him in game week 21. Dylan asks, can you check FPL statistics to see the price rises and drops? Yeah, absolutely. If I got it here somewhere. FPL, oops, that's not it. FPL statistics. There we go. So Antonio, Cresswell, Target, Martinez potentially going up tonight. They're only just over 100%, so we'll have to see. But Antonio certainly looking likely to rise. If not tonight, tomorrow. Gundogan's flying up. I think I picked him up when he was 5.5, and he's almost 5.9 now. Chilwell and Zuma set to drop tonight. I forget who it was in chat. Someone had both of them. And my suggestion was to move one of them on for a City defender, double up on the City defence. James as well. It could be a Chelsea massacre tonight. Ziyech, Zuma, Chilwell, James, all over a minus 100%. I need to find a way to get Grealish back in. I think he's such a brilliant player, and I loved having him in my team. I mean, I could sell him this week, sell Son, but I'm not sure, not convinced. Yeah, I'll have a look at your team, Golf. So 49 points with -4 for Golf. Interesting team. Got some players who you don't often see. Giroud, not seen his name in a while. Likewise, Matty Cash. Fair play though, 9 points from him. So I'm just working out what formation you play next game week. So you start Cancelo, you'd start Cresswell, you would start Cash. So I guess 3-5-2. Giroud's a problem. I would be looking to move Giroud on personally. And yeah, he's 6.7, so you can easily downgrade to some really solid options like Watkins, DCL. Actually, DCL's more than that, but you've got 6.7 in the bank. Bloody hell, I didn't notice that. 6.7 in the bank. If it was my team, I would probably upgrade one of these midfielders to Salah. Probably Zaha or Gundogan. It's too much money to have him sitting in the bank. You can start your own bank with that much money. Yeah, I'd look to do one of those midfielders to Salah, personally. He's got an extremely good fixture for Gameweek 22. Anyway, FPL Kitty, Yucks. Yucks? Are you saying Yuck a Golf Perfect's team? It's a very interesting team. It's got some players you don't often see. I think I remember you saying, Golf, from a more recent stream that this is your first season playing, right? But yeah, Giroud's a problem because Chelsea have got Werner and they've got Abraham, who are all competing for that striker spot. So I think it's sensible to move him to someone like Watkins or DCL, someone like that who you haven't got in your team. But if you can afford it, I would do that, and I would upgrade one of the midfielders to Salah and stick the armband on Salah. Anyway, guys, we've been live for just over an hour. Thank you so much, everyone that has tuned in. Massive turnout. Adam, Anuj, Dylan, Motion Aside, FPL Kitty, Golf Perfect, Matt, Nevis, Ratsk. Sorry if I did miss any questions. I'm going to finish the stream there. As always, the party does carry on the Discord. I'll be on there tonight. Really appreciate everyone that's tuned in for this impromptu stream. It was a very last minute one. We've had a great turnout. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe. I will rate your teams on Discord, EJT and Fadsley. I will be on the Discord instead, but I'm going to stop the stream here. We're going for a good hour. Thank you again, everyone that has tuned in. I will be live tomorrow for a deadline stream, 1 hour before the deadline. And yeah, as I say, don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you're not. And I'll see you on the next one.